Yesterday, I was reminded of something that I totally take for granted. And that's, as a salon owner, that we just like don't do drama at the salon. Like, of course, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Are there things that could be dramatic or blown out of proportion? Absolutely. But one of my stylists recently got her hair done by a friend out of town at her salon. So she went to the salon. She was like, I can just tell that salon is like so much drama. And she came home and she's like, I'm so spoiled. Like, everyone here needs to know how spoiled they are. And I was like, I'm gonna take that as a compliment. But also, like, that's my goal, right? Like, I want my staff to know how spoiled they are and to know how good they have it, and be grateful for that, because they also are either like doing their part by being an employee there, like to be a part of the whole, and to make that better, or they are paying their rent, and that's what they've agreed to. And so I really like that, but it made me start thinking like, okay, but what's the difference? Like, because everybody, it feels like is like, empower the next person and be kind, and kind is cool, and all this stuff that we see online. But like, in reality, people are kind of not that nice sometimes. I mean, I don't know. Seems like they mean it, but they just can't do it. Oh, but I thought you were asleep. Let's see what happens here, guys. Let's see what happens here. But ultimately, it's because I set the tone that's not acceptable. So even though you might have an opinion, or you might not love somebody, or you might think that what they're doing is stupid or uncalled for or out of line or something that you don't like, we set the tone that like, you mind your own business. If it doesn't affect you directly, like, we don't engage in that conversation. And it's way back in the podcast. If you go listen to my podcast, the 10-Minute Beauty Business Podcast, if you've been listening for a long time, can I just tell you how much I freaking... If you've listened to even one episode, if you've listened to and watched any of this, if you're watching this right now, seriously, I love you so much. But podcast people, and apparently YouTube people, are my people. That's what I'm starting to find out. Like, Instagram is cool, and we can engage in DMs and stuff, but when you tell me you listen to the podcast, and you tell me that you watch these YouTubes, which is, you know, we're only on day, I don't know, somewhere less than 20 at this point. It hits different. It's different. So anyways, there's a podcast episode, and it's called Good Gossip, Bad Gossip. And it's basically how I have structured the salon to not have gossip, and to not let that be a thing. We are so communal because it's, of course, one of our core values, but also, like, I lead by example. Are there things that I just want to be like, WTF, and like bang my head against the wall, and can people probably tell because I have zero poker face, and my staff has worked with me for so long, and they know me? Sure, like, they might be able to like guess how I'm feeling about something, but I won't say it out loud because it doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be said. I don't say it out loud to them. I might call my girlfriends. I don't really, though. I probably tell Josh, but sometimes I'm just like, file that under WTF. And like, leave it. It just doesn't matter that much. What matters is, how do these things affect my bottom line? Will I care about this 1 year from now? Because oftentimes drama and gossip just is like, comes from a place of boredom. You want to be a salon owner that is so obsessed with her life and obsessed with her business that you do whatever it takes to protect it at all costs, but also that you're so freaking busy living your life in such a great way because the salon's on autopilot. You don't have to stress or worry about these things, and so you just get to freaking live. And so you're too busy for that nonsense. You're like, I'm above that. Have you also noticed or like heard, or have you ever thought about the fact that like, people never punch down? People never punch down. So I just try to stay up here, and that's a good spot for me. And as a leader, that's a good spot for me to lead my team to be a part of. Like, we don't need to do that. Are there other salons that, oh my gosh, there have been so many things. Like, I mean, if I could gossip with you, I could spill the tea, but I'm not gonna. But there are so many things that come up, and it's like, I could say something that would make us seem better than that. Like better than whatever. Like if another, when something happens at another salon, like somehow everybody knows, but like I honestly am the last to know, because everyone knows if you bring me like a piece of gossip that it's not going to be very fun to talk about, because I'm going to like go, oh gosh, like I'm so sorry to hear that, or that sounds like we're probably missing some of the details, or it's a real bummer, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm really glad that's not happening here. Like I do everything in my power to make sure that those kind of things don't happen here, and that's just a really good reminder of why I continue to do it. And I know how freaking frustrating any of my team that watches this is like dying laughing, because those are exactly what I say. Sometimes with like a little more snark to it, but I try not to. I am a human, by the way. But like it's just it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And it's better to just not engage. It's better to just be like, oh, like, do I want to know what's going on? Absolutely. You better believe I want to know. And sometimes I just want to get my popcorn and watch it all unfold. But there was something that was said in my salon that was really distasteful about another salon owner in our community. And I actually think that the thing that was said is true. And although it is an opinion, I have reason to believe that it's true. And I've heard multiple things, and it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. But when that was said, I said out loud to my team, I have no idea if that's true or not, because I don't. It's all truthful. But what I do know is that we shouldn't be having this conversation in the salon. And my team was like, oh, you're right. You're right. Like they know it's true. We shouldn't be having that conversation in the salon. And it has absolutely nothing to do with us. But the reason that it was brought up is because people were proud to work at my salon, and they were like, yeah, well, like, did you hear? And it's like, gosh, no, but now I did. Like, don't bring it to me. I don't want to know. Like, I really don't need to know those things, because I can form my own opinions. But the thing that, like, as a human, we all like reality TV. We all like the like drama and gossip when it's somebody else's. But the problem is that when you engage in it, whether it's in-house in salon or about another salon or something in industry, like it's better to just take the high road and not get involved. Because at least for me in my position as a salon owner and as a salon business coach, like this is not appropriate behavior. And I really don't think it's appropriate behavior for other salon owners. But let me tell you a little quick story that happened, and that really solidified why I don't do drama. And I just thought, you know what, I don't need this. Like, I just can't have time for it. And my team saw this and thought, whoa. So a woman worked at my salon ages ago. I've been a salon owner for 18 years, guys. Like, so these stories are from the depths. I'm not telling any stories that are recent, because I don't need to, number one. But also, like, I'm not interested in creating any drama of anyone that I have, like, remotely a relationship with. So, or that has worked in the last, like, 10 years of the salon. So, well, let's call it 8. Because there's some good stories I need to tell you. And just, you know. Okay. So, a long, long time ago, sound like the beginning of a song. There was a woman who worked at the salon. She opened her own salon, and that was fine. She told me, like, hey, I want to pursue my dream. I want to have a salon, like, closer to where I live. Whatever. Like, was it a bummer to lose her? Yes. Like, she sold a ton of retail. She was pretty fun. I really enjoyed working with her. Whatever. So, okay, fine. She's opening her own salon. I think I might have mentioned part of this, but at some point, or I've said this story so often in the last few days because it's been relevant again. Anyways, I said, hey, you can totally stay as long as you don't solicit team members while you work here. But if you do, like, if anybody wants to go with you after you work here, that's fine. Just, like, don't make it a thing while you work here. Like, just keep it cool, whatever. She totally respected that. It was fine. Ended up that an esthetician that made me, like, that barely could pay her rent, that was kind of a disaster, ended up going with her, and a receptionist who was graduating cosmetology school went with her, and, like, whatever, it's free country, right? Go do your thing. Ended up this story could go on and on and on, but it ended up really not working out for any of them. In fact, I don't believe that the salon is still open, and I don't really know, I don't even know how long it lasted, but that's beside the point. I go to the grand opening party. I bring like flowers and a gift, and I brought like, I even remember this was the first time this happened to me, so I didn't know, like, and I also, you guys have to remember that way back, I wasn't even a hairdresser. I was just a human that owned a salon that was an outsider for this industry. So I didn't know like this was like a thing in our industry, that this was like so problematic, because it really shouldn't be, as long as people are respectful and truthful and honest the whole way through. But you know, that's another conversation. And so anyways, like I really was like, cool. So I went to the thing, I printed out, like we all took a picture, all of us that were still left, and I printed it and put it in a frame and said like good luck on the front. Like it was like this whole custom thing. Like who the F has time for that? Not me anymore. Anyways, I take it there, and then about 2 months later I get like an actual email that is like hate mail, straight hate mail coming to me about how much garbage I've talked about this salon and that I hate it and whatever. I had gone and like gotten a blowout to support my old receptionist. Like I had gone there and like talked to her and like hung out. Like I was actually like supportive. Yeah, well the hate mail wasn't really supportive. So what I instantly like pick up the phone, I call her, I leave her a message, and I'm like, oh, please don't hit me. That's not what it is. Funny though, not what I said. I call her and I'm like, hey, she doesn't answer, of course, chicken. We need to talk about this because it's super inappropriate. Like, and it's just not true. Like, we need to have, and whatever. And so I called her like I think I called her like every day for a couple of days, because I was just like, so wrong and so messed up. But anyways, she never called me back. Fast forward like 5 years. The woman who sent the hate mail sees my mom in the bank. My mom has no idea who this woman is. No freaking clue who this woman is. And the woman comes up to my mom and is like sobbing. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's just ridiculous. And so my mom's like, hello. And she's like, hi, I'm so-and-so. Do you remember I worked with at Ooh La La, I worked with Lexi. My mom's like, oh yeah, great. And she's like, I just really need to apologize. And my mom's like, whatever. So anyways, the woman's crying because the hate mail, she was like, I knew it was untrue. I was just really in a spot that it made me very uncomfortable. And like all of that like fully came to light, and that like Lexi really did the right thing and whatever. But needless to say, my team, like when that happened, I told them, I'm like, you guys, I just need you to know, like, this is what happened, and I got this hate mail, and if this comes up, I hope that you'll have my back. And that was the part where like I got my team involved, not to create more drama, but to be like, this is the truth, and you guys know it's the truth, because I'm not in here talking all. And there was like quotes, there was like direct stuff that I'm waiting for my husband and picking him up quickly. But anyways, so long story short, the whole thing, my team was like, wow. And it did come up, and they were like, no, you didn't do that. Like, none of that happened. Like, that's crazy, whatever. But I didn't make a big deal about it, because like, do you know how fired up I was? Like, it really, like, she was cutting down like my character and my integrity. And that's something that I really stand behind. And it bothered me a lot. And I wanted to go and say a bunch of stuff about her. I never said any of that. I just said, hey guys, I've received this hate mail. And it was like threatening. I mean, it was freaking crazy. It was crazy. It was like definitely a moment where I want to take my hoops out and be like, let's get to the bottom of this. But I couldn't, because I had to set the tone for how I was going to lead moving forward when we had issues like this and when we had stuff come up. And so from there, because I always had said we weren't drama, we don't do gossip. Like I had said it, but I had to like fully embody it to a thing where it like could have been, right? That could have been like salon wars, right? But I didn't let it get there. And so I wanted to share that story with you just as an example, and also because like I'm telling stories here, 100 Days of Systems and stories from a salon owner's perspective. But let's continue the conversation. Tell me how you feel. Like, how do you handle drama and gossip in the salon? For me, I always, like, if there's anything, which there rarely is anymore, but I'm like, hey, so-and-so is having this issue, they're having this issue, we got to talk about it. Like, all involved parties get together, let's hash it out. If one of you can't be a part of the solution, then you are the problem and you gotta go. That's basically how we handle it on all fronts.